Hi everyone, I'm Gary Harris for the Bryant Museum. What happened here on New Year's Day 1993 surprised most everyone in the world of college football. But there were thousands of Alabama fans here and a few million back home who knew the secret that was about to be revealed. Over the next couple of hours, we'll let you enjoy the Big Easy and take you through the build-up, the postgame, and the national championship celebration. We'll also show you every play from the game itself. Welcome to the Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana, and a national championship edition of Crimson Classics. Welcome to Crimson Classics. The '92 Alabama team was a heavy underdog when it played Miami here for the national championship, but the Tide was no ragtag bunch. The year before, Alabama had gone 11-1, its only loss coming in the second game of the season to Florida in the Swamp.
That team was coming together. I mean, I think you talk about a team that turned. The Alabama team of '92 really started at Gainesville, of all places, the year before when it was wiped out, 35-0.
Alabama reeled off 10 straight victories and finished the season ranked 5th in the Associated Press final poll after beating defending national champion Colorado in the Blockbuster Bowl. In '92, Bama's young quarterback Jay Barker had a solid team around him, including all 5 returning offensive linemen. The '92 team also featured a defensive roster that included 7 players who would move on to play in the National Football League.
We'd won a lot of games up to that point. It wasn't like that we weren't a sound team.
We realized we had a lot coming back. We had played Colorado in the Blockbuster Bowl and just a lot of experience defensively and offensively coming back on that team. And we felt like we could make a push for the national title. I actually thought it'd be '93. For some, I don't know why, I thought we were gradually getting there, but some guys stepped up, and in '92, we began in '91, and through that spring, we broke down after every practice and after every workout during the summer before that season as national champs. We just said it over and over. That was kind of our goal.
I got to see it now. We were strong, and we were very, very confident, and we didn't care who it was. We didn't care who you put on the football field. It didn't even matter to us.
I knew we were going to be a good defensive team. I wasn't sure how good an offensive team we were going to be.
You have to remember they went 11-1 in '91, so it wasn't like that they were just coming absolutely out of nowhere. You know, they lost the second game of the year in '91 and won every game since then. So they had quite a streak going in. I just think that people at that time felt that Miami and Florida State and those teams were so powerful, and they weren't used to thinking of Alabama in those terms over the previous decade or so.
Before the fall of 1992, the university celebrated the 100th anniversary of Alabama football. All of the old Alabama greats were back. A team of the century was named.
They had the reunion of the Century of Champions, and I got to be a part of that, got to be there, and I think a lot of people have seen that picture of me and Namath, and I'm standing there with this big grin on my face going, what in the world am I doing between these two guys? But it was fun, and you saw the tradition. I think seeing all those guys come back, seeing the history of Alabama, and Coach Stallings was so much a part of relaying to us what Alabama football was all about.
Now, I'm not going to sit here for 1 second and tell you I thought they'd go 12-0 and beat Miami in the Sugar Bowl. But you could get a sense that it was coming.
And Alabama had that winning tradition here. Just look at it, going to the museum. You want to be on the wall in the museum. You want to be part of the tradition. You want to come back years later when you got kids and stuff, and you want to be able to walk over there and point yourself out on that wall and say, son, that's tradition right there. Everybody don't get up on the wall. You can be part of it. Everybody don't get up on the wall. That's tradition right there. And that's what it's all about. Years to come, you want to be able to say, hey, I was part of something. Every man want to say he's part, want to be able one day to say he was part of something, no matter what it is, football, basketball, something in life. Every man want to be able to be proud of something and say, I was part of this.
Following the 1991 season, some people had called Alabama the worst number 5 team in the history of college football. and Alabama was on the outside of the national picture looking in as the '92 season got underway. It would take a while for that picture to change. We'll take you through the 1992 regular season next. The road to New Orleans got off to a bumpy start before the season even began. David Palmer, suspended 1 game for a car accident he had during the summer in which alcohol was involved, got into more trouble while he was serving his suspension. Bama coach Gene Stallings upped the suspension for the all-world kick returner and receiver 2 more games, but he took some heat for not kicking the sophomore from Birmingham off the squad. Stallings told the media that the easy thing to do would be to cut Palmer loose to give up on him.
One move that probably helped win the '92 national championship was one I thought was quite a poor move.
Yeah, first of all, there were 2 incidents. You know, there was one in the summer during the off season where David was involved in an accident, and then tested, you know, for a high blood alcohol level higher than what was the legal limit at that time, and that was dealt with. And there was a second incident after the season started where he was, you know, driving when he shouldn't have been driving and was caught for that.
Stallings had a different approach. Stallings felt like he knew David Palmer and knew what was good for David Palmer. I don't know if he knew what was good for David Palmer or if he knew what was good for winning a national championship. But regardless, he let David come back. He won the Tech game. He won a number of other games. And I think that's a little known incident, not a little known incident, but a widely known incident that very few people ever talk about as being a key to that championship.
I remember Coach Stallings one day in the news conference explaining that if David Palmer was removed from this football team on a long-term basis, which turned out to be a permanent basis, his concern was for David Palmer as a human being. It's very easy for us sitting outside to say, well, he wrecked a truck and got a DUI, we just need to throw him off. And a lot of football coaches would probably do that.
Now, I think that Coach Stallings looked at it realistically. People have to understand that in a case like David Palmer's, if you had dropped David Palmer from the team, if you'd said, okay, you know, you made this mistake, no more football, you have to look at what you'd have been returning him to in terms of his life. And he really would have had very little chance to get out of inner city Birmingham had it not been for athletics.
Coach Stallings come in and said, all right, guys, this is what we got. I don't want you to put your name down on a piece of paper, but I want you to write down what you think we ought to do. All the way around that conference table where we had that meeting, we passed up our sheets. He'd look. Well, that's what I thought. Every one of you said, suspend him, get him out of the program. Now, Fuller, let me ask you a question. You recruited that young man. You tell the staff where you think he's going to be next week if he's not in this program. You know where he grew up. You know what was happening in his life. I said, well, Coach, I was thinking, you know, what may be best for the team. He said, I didn't ask you to tell me about the team. I asked you to tell me about this individual. I said, well, he'll be back out on the street. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to take the responsibility of this, and I'll take the heat from it. But what we need to do for this young man is try to help him. I'm not trying to win another game, and we all knew what his talent was. But he had to address a very sensitive issue of keeping this young man on the team, and it was totally his decision. We all voiced our opinion, and it was all against what he wanted to do. But he did have that vision that if I let this guy go, nothing good's going to come out of it. If I keep him, I've got a chance. And as it turned out, it worked. It worked.
Alabama started out the season ranked 8th in the AP Top 25. And while missing Palmer, Alabama had a fairly easy time of it in its first 3 games. The Crimson Tide took a 16-0 lead over Vanderbilt en route to a 25-8 victory. Against Southern Miss, Alabama had trouble scoring, but the defense was smothering. Southern Miss's Bobby Hamilton intercepted a Jay Barker pass and returned it for a third-quarter touchdown, and the Golden Eagles got a field goal to take a 10-7 lead. But the Tide put together a 64-yard field goal drive and a 63-yard touchdown drive capped by Chris Anderson's 1-yard run to take a 17-10 victory. There was a lot of hype building up to the Arkansas game. But Jay Barker threw for 3 touchdowns, and Derek Lassick rushed for 112 yards as Alabama dominated the Razorbacks in Little Rock, 38-11. Alabama's offense had trouble getting anything done in Week 4. Michael Proctor kicked a field goal in the first quarter and a field goal in the second quarter, the only points either team managed in the first half.
I think our toughest game was La Tech. In Birmingham, here's La Tech, and I'll never forget their defensive coordinator wrote me a letter at the end of the year. They ended up second in defense, total defense that year behind Alabama, and I think he ended up getting a big-time job. And we were playing against Miami. I said, I don't know if we'll face off against a better defense than La Tech. And he was writing me thank you notes saying, thanks for the comments.
The Deuce, David Palmer, was back on the field, and he electrified the crowd with a 63-yard punt return in the fourth quarter to give Alabama its only touchdown.
Fielded by Palmer, 35, 36, now goes forward, and blocking, he's loose, 40 to the 30, he turns on the afterburners, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, David Palmer, a 64-yard punt return.
That's when my boy just got back. The Deuce, baby. Deuce caught that punt, go to the house. He ran straight to the camera, looked at the camera, and said, I'm back.
For homecoming, Alabama made quick work out of an 0-5 South Carolina team. The Tide moved up to 6th in the AP Top 25 poll. Next up, a visit to New Orleans and the Louisiana Superdome for a road game against the Tulane Green Wave.
And I guess maybe now I can talk about this since, it's years and years past. Coach Starlin tell us to come in real tight. In the 4 years I played for him, he never ever did this. He pulled us in, he said, I don't want to hear this from the media, from fans, from nobody. He said, I want to be right back here at this same place playing for the national championship. That's exactly what he said to us in the huddle. See, now you got a bunch of kids confused because now we like, Coach Stallings don't do this. He don't make predictions, he don't say nothing, he don't do, it's one game at a time for him.
Alabama beat Tulane with a typical dominating defensive effort. Tulane managed only 165 yards of total offense that day, and only 58 yards came on the ground. Alabama moved up to 4th in the national rankings after that, but heading into another tough road game at Knoxville's Neyland Stadium, plenty of people still had their doubts about the Crimson Tide.
I'll never forget, the team went up to Knoxville in '92, and everyone outside of Tuscaloosa, even many of us in Birmingham, were calling it the worst 6-0 team in the country, the worst 7. With every win, they really didn't get any better.
Good fortune or not, Alabama passed every test. The Crimson Tide defeated Tennessee 17-10. They followed that up with a 31-10 victory over Ole Miss at home, and after a week off, the Tide went on the road and defeated the Bengal Tigers of LSU in Baton Rouge 31-11. Alabama got a little help in the polls when Washington lost to Arizona, moving Bama into the number 2 spot. More on that and the build-up to the Sugar Bowl after this. With Alabama 9-0 and ranked number 2 in the polls after the LSU game, there could now be legitimate talk of a national championship in Tuscaloosa as the Tide prepared to go to Starkville to face 18th ranked Mississippi State.
We'd won 9 games, hadn't won anything. We hadn't even won our division. If you get 9-0, your team is 9-0, 10-0, then I want you to maybe give a little thought to perhaps winning all of them. So You know, we played some pretty close games early, but everybody does. You know, whoever wins the national championship, you know, has some close games. They come from behind at the latter part of the game. They make a big play and stop the opponent. Nobody beats everybody but 20 points to going into the national championship. So we had some games early that could have gone either way, but we won them.
As they had done all year, Alabama jumped out to an early lead and was up 20-3 at the half. But Mississippi State came roaring back in the second half with 18 third-quarter points.
You work all your life to get in the position of being a champion, and everything that you put into it, and it comes down and you can almost feel it slipping away.
We jump out to a 20-3 lead, and you know, things are looking pretty good. But then all of a sudden in the third quarter, here they come storming back and go ahead 21-20. Now it's a contest.
We were a little bit overconfident. I think we jumped out on Mississippi State early. And we thought, like all the other teams we had faced all year long, they won't lay down.
And you say, well, how did that happen? Mississippi State made it happen.
We didn't know what to do. Never forget it, John Copeland. And John Copeland don't say too much. He was never one of them vocal leaders. That night, John Copeland stepped up in the middle of the huddle. It was a timeout. And he said, man, I've never seen us look like this. Everybody looking around, heads down, like we don't know what to do. He said, man, we Alabama. We play at one of the greatest schools with the greatest tradition you could ever play at in your life. And we out here like we done lost this game. He said, if you don't want to play with me, then go to the sideline. I tell y'all what, I win it myself. That's what John said.
Again, those guys thrived on being put into a situation and turn around and making it happen.
Copeland and crew took over in the fourth quarter, forcing 3 Mississippi State mistakes and taking a 30-21 victory back to T-Town. Alabama clinched the SEC Western Division Championship with the win over Mississippi State and had an open week before meeting Auburn on Thanksgiving Day at Legion Field. Auburn was unranked when it came to Birmingham to face second-ranked Alabama, but Iron Bowls, as we know, are never easy, and this one had an added piece of pressure. People
come running up to me and say, hey, Coach Dye is resigned. He's retiring. He's quitting right before the game. I don't know whether they're looking for an edge. I think I'd wait till after that game to announce it. Well, nevertheless, that's what they did. And I felt like that it was going to give the Auburn players a little bit more incentive, which it probably did. But there again, we had a little incentive too. We were playing for the championship. We were playing for an opportunity to go into the championship game and perhaps play for the national championship. So I don't think their incentive was any bigger than our incentive. Did I worry about the fact that Pat had retired right before that game? You betcha I worried about it.
It did give the Tigers a big emotional lift, at least through the first half, which ended in a scoreless tie. But Bama's defense kept applying pressure. And early in the third quarter, Auburn quarterback Stan White threw a pass that Langham intercepted and returned 61 yards for the first touchdown of the afternoon. That was all Alabama needed, but place kicker Michael Proctor kicked a 47-yard field goal later in the third quarter. Sherman Williams found the end zone with a 15-yard run in the fourth to provide the final 17-0 score.
You know, there's a lot of twists in our 92 season because we were looking forward to just beating Auburn, being 12-0 or 11-0 at that time, and going on to maybe play for a national championship. But see, they added that extra game when we had to play our first SEC championship game. So we're all kind of distraught. And, there's a whole kind of little soap opera kind of stuff going on. Cause like, man, if we wouldn't have had to play this next game against a good Florida team, we'd be done.
Even after Alabama had beaten Auburn and gone undefeated, they still hadn't won anything. And I'll never forget Stallings talking about that and the fans talking about that. And it was kind of a nervy experience, knowing that you still had to face Florida.
We fixed to play the most dangerous football team we can probably play or have played all year long, by far. Number one, coached by Steve Spurrier, and that's Florida. Now you're talking about they've got talented kids.
It was a freezing day at Birmingham's Legion Field. Steve Spurrier's Gators won the SEC championship in 1991, and Florida was gunning after it again in '92. Florida got on the board first with an 11-play drive that ended in a 5-yard run by Eric Redd for a touchdown. Matthews was 7 for 7 passing on that opening drive. Bama's offense answered right back with its rushing attack, going on a 72-yard drive, 55 of those yards coming on the ground. Derek Lassick scored on a 3-yard run to tie the game. In the second quarter, Alabama took the lead through the air. A 30-yard strike from Barker to Curtis Brown, who made a terrific catch. The defense held early in the third quarter, and Bama got on the board again with another Lassick run, capping a 66-yard drive. Late in the third quarter, however, Florida and Shane Matthews put together another scoring drive. 9 plays and 68 yards to close the gap to 21-14. The fourth quarter stalemated until the last 5 minutes. Rhett scored on a 1-yard run to cap another 9-play Florida drive, and the game was suddenly tied 21-21. Florida got the ball deep in its own territory with less than 4 minutes to play.
First and 10 Gators now. Football is up there, 21-yard line. A single setback behind Matthews as the battle fans try to distract him. On the step, he'll pop that. Here's the ball. Antonio Langham on the interception. And Alabama gets a big turnover as he steps directly in front of the intended receiver. And he raced her in for a return of roughly 21 yards for the touchdown.
If you look at that play, how they moved, the receiver ran, and he hooked up, and I said, right there. He just came, and then I guess he felt a little pressure. He just stopped and looked right over there and threw it. I was like, when he threw it, I said, I know he didn't throw this one.
He's smart enough that when he squats on the upfield corner, body position of the receiver, and he squats, he did it where the quarterback couldn't see him. And he could barely see around the edge of it just looking at the angle, and as the quarterback threw it, he broke. Ordinarily the quarterback, had he seen him and he was in a position to see his whole body, he probably wouldn't have thrown the football there on that route. It was a little hitch route. And Langham sort of hid his body behind the receiver, was in between, and he broke, made a great play, and thank goodness he did it, because I don't know what would have happened after that.
Florida would get 2 more chances, but the best D in the land did it again. Alabama hangs on 28-21. So here's Alabama, 12-0, number 2 in the nation, and headed for a matchup with number 1 Miami in the Sugar Bowl. When Crimson Classics returns, it's Bourbon Street trash talking from one team and quiet determination from the other. Everyone, it seems, was picking Miami, and why not? The Hurricanes had the Heisman Trophy winner in quarterback Gino Torretta, speedster Lamar Thomas at wide receiver, and a defense led by the likes of Rohan Marley, Ryan McNeil, and Michael Barrow. And oh, by the way, they hadn't lost a game in 2 years.
We felt like all year long people were doubting us. Can this Alabama team continue to march their way up the polls? Will they get a chance to play for the national title? So I'll never forget coming in that first week down in New Orleans, the week before the national championship game, sat down with one of the reporters, and I think he was from California. He said, Jay, he said, you know, this is like David and Goliath. And I said, well, sir, have you ever read the Bible? David won that battle. I said, so I like that analogy. That's good. And we knew coming into it that people were going to pick Miami. Miami came in so confident that they were just going to blow us out. At that time, they were on like a 20-game winning streak. We were right behind them on a pretty good winning streak ourselves. And it was going to be a tough game. We also realized, too, seeing on film, that we had a chance against this Miami team coming into the game.
When we got to New Orleans, Coach Stallings was very confident and sort of confided in us in a few writers at various times that, that hey, we're ready to play this game. We think we're as good as these guys. We think we might even be better than these guys.
Everything that was going on outside of us on Bourbon Street and all that, after 11 was everybody else's business, not ours. Because we knew we worked too hard and we were there for a reason.
I'll never forget the first couple of nights, different functions that we had. They tried to pick fights with certain players. They were very outspoken about what they felt like was going to happen in the game.
Miami was not known for being humble, and linebackers Rohan Marley and Michael Barrow, along with receiver Lamar Thomas, were drawing the most attention with some over-the-top comments. Bama offensive lineman Roosevelt Patterson was the main recipient of the verbal assaults, and Patterson was ready to return the fire.
At one point in time, we thought we were going to have to break up a fight because Roosevelt was, they were trying to jaw at him a little bit. Now, Rosie, he's a guy that you could probably get to just a bit, because if you began to challenge him, he liked a little bit of, I don't want to say he didn't mouth people, but he'd get into a little conversation with you every once in a while.
We cross paths on Bourbon Street. You cross paths all the time on Bourbon Street. They walk by, they got their little small remarks. We've been here before. Yeah, I got to be in curfew at 11 o'clock. We don't have to be in, we don't have a curfew. We all right, we've been here before. We know what it's all about. Okay, fine. It's y'all business, we don't care.
In one comment, Miami linebacker Michael Barrow told the press, quote, "We seek, we destroy, we fear no one, but everyone fears us." Langham fired back at the Miami blowhard in an interview with ESPN's Chris Fowler.
I go in the ESPN room with Chris Fowler. So he's sitting there, he talking to me, just like me, you sitting there, he talking to me. He said, man, Rohan Marley saying this, he's saying this, he's saying this. And I get mad, because I'm like, man, I'm a competitor, I don't care nothing about Miami, I get mad. So I sit there, I said, you know what, Chris, I said, let me tell you something. I said, these guys doing all this talking and they rah-rahing, and I said, they know what we got, they know we stacked over there. I said, you know what, sometimes people can just let their mouth ready to check, they behind can't cash. I'm telling you, Chris Fowler sitting right here in front of me. Guess what, Chris Fowler looked at me and started smiling, he said, yes, I got one. I got one. It finally broke the ice. And we sitting there, so the next morning, I'm in the meeting room. All I hear somebody come flying through the door. Boom! I said, oh man, I gotta hear now about this statement I made last night.
If what he said sums it up more than anything else, I mean, hell.
Go to the office and say, man, dadgummit, I'm tired. I am tired of Miami. They in the paper, they said we're not real men, because we don't play man-to-man. All we do is we play zone. Well, I tell you something. I got something for them. We playing man-to-man all freaking night long. And everybody sitting in the meeting room like, oh. He look at him, he said, man, guys, y'all are great. Y'all one heck of a football team. He says a kid sitting in this room right now, and this kid said it best on ESPN yesterday. He said sometimes they could write a check they behind can't cash, and I mean it. Anton, where you at? I'm sitting there, everybody looking around. I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble for this one.
If they got any sense, they keep their mouth shut anyhow. He just got finally where he had to say something, I think. I thought it was funny as hell myself. I did.
The media hype is over, but the trash talking is moving inside the Superdome. Let's listen as Eli, Jerry, and Doug from the Alabama Radio Network describe the scene.
And the roar of the crowd welcomes the Alabama Crimson Tide onto the playing field. Again, the flashbulbs just popping at a miraculous rate. There's confetti raining down from the upper deck. Balloons that are being displayed and flying towards the top of the roof here at the Superdome. It is a carnival atmosphere.
And it was just fever pitch. I mean, I'll never forget coming out on the field. It felt like I was walking on air. It was unbelievable.
You 18, 19, 20 years old, man, and you looking up, and the stand's full. You in the Superdome in New Orleans, and it's packed. And you see more crimson and white than you see anything. And you looking around, you like, oh man, we at the show, baby. That's how you look around, like, oh man, you at the show. I'm hearing George and them like, man, we at the show. George like, I know it, man. We here, baby, we here. You know, you all of a sudden you just get, it's just that adrenaline start coming, you know, you hair starts standing up on your arms. You like, yeah, baby, we here now. All we got to do is finish this one off, and it's good.
We're done with the pregame hype. It's time to see who's behind can cash that check when Crimson Classics returns. Alabama wins the toss, and Miami will receive. Bama's Michael Proctor is set to kick off.
If you look and you watch the first play of the game, that was my symbol of how our game was going to be. When we kicked the ball off, I was actually one that made a tackle that first deal. But, I mean, what you could feel and sense from our guys after that first kickoff, we knew we had them already.
First and 10, Hurricanes from their own 18-yard line, going left to right. Soretta, the quarterback, he'll drop back, take 3-4 drop. He'll feed out to Bennett on the flare. He'll cut to the inside, gets taken down at the 21-yard line. A pickup of 3. Sam Shade came up to make the play. Shotgun, Soretta has to roll. He'll go to the left side, being chased and put down by Tommy Johnson. It'll be Johnson getting Soretta back at the 18-yard line. The play will lose 3. On a 3rd and 10, Miami, football at their own 18 from the far hash mark. From the shotgun with Bennett again being kept in for blocking at the left side. Soretta drops back, takes a 4-step drop. He'll look and fire. It is incomplete.
Really getting through and applying some pretty good pressure was Jamie Nunley of Alabama. He made good penetration and made him hurry the pass.
This is what 70,000 people saying deuce sounds like. As Paul Snyder, the senior punter from Laguna Niguel, California, who averages 40 yards a punt, will he punt it to David Palmer? He'll get this one away. But Palmer takes it at the 40, back to the 38, up the middle, big hole, 50, 45, 40, he's loose to the 30, 35, 25-yard line. They kick to the deuce, and David responds. Alabama, 1st and 10, inside the Miami 25-yard line, a 44-yard punt, and a 38-yard return for the deuce.
I was wrong. They were foolhardy enough to kick to the deuce, and this time he got through that first initial wave so quickly, and then once you got him in a broken field, you got problems on your hand. They finally swarmed him down at the 24.
The thing I remember most about the game was David Palmer's first punt return, and just the noise level inside the Superdome, and how pro-Alabama it was, and how excited the crowd got when David Palmer ran that punt back to set up Alabama's first score. He didn't score, but he set up the first score. From that point on, you knew that Miami certainly was going to have the crowd against them, and that they were going to be having to fight an uphill battle against Alabama's defense.
Derek Lassick gives the Tide a good start, following Martin Houston off the left side for 4 yards, leaving 2nd and 6 from the 19. On the 2nd down play, Alabama goes with misdirection. That's big Roosevelt Patterson leading Lassick through the hole and stalking a Miami defensive back. Lassick goes for 16 yards, setting the Tide up 1st and goal. Bama in a tight formation. On 1st and goal, it's a great play call, and Lassick is wide open. But Casey Greer makes a nice play to deflect the low-thrown pass. On 2nd and 6, Barker gives to New York's Derek Lassick for 3 yards to the 3. Farrell makes a nice play getting off the block to take him down. 3rd and goal, Barker takes the snap, looks, decides to run for 6, but he doesn't get there. Knocked down at the 2, so Coach Stallings calls for the field goal.
A 19-yard field goal attempt, the first one from this close that Proctor's attempted this year. Kick is up, and the kick is good.
It's Proctor kicking off again. This time, Bama's Willie Gaston knocks the ball loose, but it's out of bounds and remains with the Hurricanes. Miami runs on 1st down, but St. Louis, Missouri's James Gregory is able to plug the hole. On 2nd and 9 from the shotgun, Toretta looks. On a delayed rush, Derek Oden pressures the quarterback, but the Heisman winner gets it off to Horace Copeland for 5 yards. Gino passing again from an empty backfield, and this time he hits Kevin Williams on a slant for a big play. Williams races across midfield before Tommy Johnson just barely pulls him down. On 1st and 10, Toretta takes a quick drop and lets one go too high for the intended receiver. With 8:48 left in the first quarter, Miami's on the move. Toretta finds Jonathan Harris in the flat. He turns it upfield for 10 yards and a 1st down at the Alabama 29. Nearing field goal range, Miami tries to run it. bad move. Jeremy Nunley hits McGuire in the backfield for a loss. On second down, Torretta overthrows Williams. On 3rd and 13, Torretta looks for Lamar Thomas for the first time. But he can't connect. Alabama has held, and Miami will have to try a 49-yard field goal. Alabama native Dane Pruitt is up to the task, and Miami cashes in for 3 points on a 9-play, 47-yard drive. Pruitt kicks off to the Alabama 9-yard line where the Deuce, David Palmer, takes it back to the 26. Alabama's gone to Derek Lassick exclusively so far, but this time he motions out of the backfield. And Barker finds Prince Wimbley on the throwback. Wimbley gets 6 yards before being tossed out of bounds. For the next 4 plays, Alabama tried to establish a running game, with Derek Lassick taking the carries behind a cohesive offensive line, as well as fullback Martin Houston and tight end Steve Buskey. Bama picks up the first down on 3rd and 1. Then Barker tries the shovel pass, but Huntsville native Chris Anderson can't hang on. On second down, the offense did a good job of picking up the initial blitz, but Barker hangs on to the football when he can't find an open receiver, and Marley and Barrow combine for the sack.
4.5 remaining, opening quarter, tied at 3. It's a 3rd and 16, Bama from their own 45. Anderson, the single setback. Barker to throw. Jay steps back and airs it out long, intercepted. Intercepted by the Hurricanes down the left sidelines inside Bama's 40. It'll be Casey Greer, the strong safety, picking off that pass from Jay Barker. It's a 1st and 10 from the 39. Donnell Bennett, the single setback. Torretta from the drop, throws it across the middle, complete to Bennett, circling out of the backfield. He is run out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Torretta will drop back, quick release, throws complete, hits to the 30, inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Lamar Thomas forward, fumbles the football, recovered by Alabama. Willie Gaston comes up with his first fumble recovery of the season.
The guy that knocked the ball loose, though, for Alabama was Tommy Johnson, who really closed on Lamar Thomas and hit him and slapped the ball loose. And this is what Thomas is really great at doing. He is so very, very fast. And Johnson dived in behind him and knocked it loose, or it could have been Antonio London. They were both involved.
Willie Gaston with the recovery.
With just 4:02 remaining in the opening quarter, Barker hands off to Lassick, and he has nowhere to go. On second down, Barker hands to sophomore Terrett Lynch. He makes a nice move to elude defenders and get 12 yards to the 32. Bama's Martin Houston picks up the first down. And then it's Derek Lassick around the right side for 7 yards. On 2nd and short from Bama's 41, Alabama goes to play action, but it looks like the back goes the wrong way and it's a busted play. But Jay Barker makes a run for it. He rambles across midfield and into Miami territory. Alabama 1st and 10 on the Canes 48. Barker on first down attempts another play action, but Miami's blitz ruins everything. On 2nd and 10, Palmer motions out. Barker looks to the other side of the field for Lassick, but the Miami defensive tackle is all over it. The man breaking up the screen pass is Warren Sapp, who of course went on to have a wonderful NFL career. Bama's in another dreaded passing situation on 3rd and 10. Barker drops back, looks down the field and throws. And again, it's intercepted, this time by All-American Ryan McNeil. He's out of bounds at the 23. Now, a punt could have netted a little better field position, but all in all, it's not a horrible outcome for Alabama. More action from New Orleans when Crimson Classics returns. It's a Cajun Spice Battle Royale as Crimson Classics returns. Miami's offense is back out for their fourth series of the game. The Heisman winner Torretta steps under center. But look at this. He's got the entire Tide defense on the line of scrimmage. All 11 men looking him dead in the eye.
In that game, when we put them up there, we went it 17 times, and only about a fourth of the time did we bring everybody. The rest of the time we rushed three, and our three-man front did a good job with pressure, and then we doubled the receivers outside and inside with the safeties and corners.
Alabama now shifting things back into a 6 defensive back formation on a 1st and 10 Miami. Torretta is going to audible. He'll step up now. Everybody leans in. The offensive line tells one another what the play is as Torretta throws down the near side, looping it long into double coverage. It falls incomplete.
I mean, we had all the confidence in the world. Then when you put Coach Oliver's scheme into it, he was lights out.
Like that defense where everybody came up on the line, and I guess somebody had used that before, but I'd never quite seen anything like that, and obviously Torretta hadn't either.
6 DBs again on a 2nd and 10 for the Hurricanes, and now timeout is taken by Miami.
Torretta does not know what Alabama is doing for the life of him. He had to call a timeout when Alabama had everybody on the line of scrimmage.
Everybody come to the line of scrimmage, right? Everybody in the line of scrimmage. So I'm like, we all lined up. You know, he get ready, and then he look around, he like, then he bag him, he look over to the sideline. So I look to the sideline, all the coaches, not just Erickson, all the coaches over there like, you know, like, yeah, we got him now, boy. They was like, man, they got everybody on the line of scrimmage.
After the timeout, Miami tries a reverse to the Speedy Williams. It's his worst nightmare. Copeland and Curry side by side. The speedster has no chance, and that leaves 3rd and long. Torretta to pass from the shotgun on 3rd and long. He feels a little bit of heat and throws incomplete. The Canes have to punt, and Torretta is miffed. Martin Houston with no gain, and that's the end of the first quarter. Alabama had the upper hand in most of the first quarter stats, but where it matters most on the scoreboard, we're deadlocked at 3 apiece. It's a toss to Lassick off the left end. Tight end Steve Buskey takes his man inside, and big number 77 leads the way. Watch Patterson get his payback on the Miami defensive back. Lassick gets it again. This time the Miami defense is stiff up the middle. Lassick gains 1, and Barrow makes the stop. On 2nd down, Barker rolls to his left with the option to run or pass. He pulls it down and takes it himself for 5 yards. Palmer motions out of the backfield on 3rd down, and Barker finds him in the right flat for the 1st down. David goes for 6 yards before he's out of bounds. Alabama with a 1st down at the 11-yard line now, and Lassick gets the call. He makes 1, 2, 3 Miami defenders miss as he heads toward the goal line. Finally, he's taken down at the 1 by his face mask. It looks like Alabama is knocking on the door, but check out the yellow flags. Lassick is called for a personal foul for spinning the football after he thinks he scored. That's picky.
We get that silly penalty where Derek spins that ball, and I still remember that call.
Sherman Williams takes the toss on 1st and goal from the 16 for 4 yards. Wembley comes in motion. Buskey, Patterson, Lynch, and John Stevenson open a crease on the right side, and Williams burst ahead for 8 yards down to the 4. Lassick, fighting for every yard, tries to cut back inside, but nothing's doing, and he loses 2 yards. With that, Michael Proctor has to come on to try another field goal. It's right down the middle, and Alabama takes a 6-3 lead. Still, the Tide had to be a little disappointed. Miami returns the kickoff to the 28. Bama's got all 11 men on the line of scrimmage again. This time the Tide brings the heat, and Eric Curry gets a hand on the ball as Torretta tries to pass over the incoming rush. It's incomplete, and Torretta is hit hard again. On 2nd down, Torretta takes off running, and he has a wide open field off to his left. Slow of foot, he still manages to pick up 15 yards out to the 43 before Sam Shade corners him. Donnell Bennett rushes for 6 yards to the 49. Canes trying to pass on 2nd and 4, but they fumble the snap. Gino falls on the football but loses 5 yards.
Gino trying to mishandle the snap. Alabama on him immediately. I'm telling you, he cannot figure out this Alabama defense.
The Hurricanes 2 of 5 and third down conversions, looking at a 3rd and 9 now from their own 44. Torretta from the shotgun, steps back, fires, picked off. Alabama, Sam Shade intercepts it. He's back to the 50, to the 45. He's got blockers. He's to the 40, 35, 33-yard line. Sam Shade with his 3rd interception of the year. That is only the 8th time that Torretta has been picked off this season. A 33-yard run back, and Alabama back in business. Now it's 1st and 10 Bama from the 31 of the Hurricanes. The give to Lassick, big hole up the middle. Pitch back, Lassick open to hole to the 20. He's got blockers, 15, 10, 5-yard line, forward to the 3-yard line. Derek Lassick off a block of Roosevelt Patterson really squeaked through a hole that seemingly wasn't there. And finally, Jesse Armstead helped put him down after a 25-yard gainer. 1st and goal, Bama from the 3. Craig Harris in motion. Give to Lassick, angling to the right side, forward to the 1-yard line. 6:49 to go, opening half of play. Harris in motion. Give to Lassick. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and goal from the 2. Harris in motion. The give to Sherman. Cuts right into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Sherman Williams on a great change of direction. As he was angling left, saw the hole open. He cut back right. Having 6:09 to go in the opening half. It is Alabama 12. The Hurricanes 3. Here's the kick. It is up. It is good. 13-3 with 6:09 remaining in this opening half.
Proctor kicks to the Miami 6-yard line where Williams takes it once again. He gets his best return of the night so far out to the 31 before Tommy Johnson makes the tackle. The Canes start 1st and 10 from there with 6 minutes to play in the half. McGuire tries to run again. This time he hesitates, finds a seam, and darts ahead for a 4-yard gain. On 2nd down, Bama brings everyone up again, and McGuire tries the running lane on the right side of the line to no avail. Torretta under tremendous pressure on 3rd down, and he throws it incomplete. The Canes' Paul Snyder punts it away. Alabama sticks to the conservative-style game plan. Anderson takes the toss for 2 yards, bringing up 2nd and 8 from the 23. Terrence Lynch for 5 yards, bringing up 3rd down. Anderson needs 3 yards to move the chains, but he's stopped for no gain by Miami's speedy linebacker Jesse Armstead. The clock has now moved under 3 minutes. Who says a punter's not a weapon? Brian Dill gets off a terrific kick to flip the field. With 2:39 left in the half, Torretta works from the shotgun with an empty backfield. His 1st down pass over the middle is off the mark and incomplete. Terrific coverage by Niceville, Florida's Tommy Johnson. Same formation on 2nd down. Torretta looks across the middle and hits Lamar Thomas, but Sam Shade makes him pay for the 4-yard gain, and the clock continues to run. Torretta finds Spencer for 8 yards and a Miami 1st down. Miami is penalized for illegal procedure, so here's a 1st and 15 from the 23. Chris Jones makes a catch for 9 yards to the 32. A defense can never relax when playing against the explosive Hurricanes, and here's proof. A 14-yard gain to the 46. 43 seconds remaining in the half. Torretta escapes the pressure and hits Thomas. 23 seconds remaining. Torretta fires downfield for Thomas. Incomplete. Willie Gaston was right there. Down to 19 seconds. Torretta takes a shot for Kevin Williams. Incomplete. Third and 10, 13 seconds to go. Torretta to Thomas, 18 yards and a big 1st down. Miami's out of timeouts, though, so Gino has to spike the football to stop the clock for a field goal attempt. Coach Stallings tries to ice Dane Pruitt with 2 timeouts. But it does not work. Pruitt's 42-yard kick is good, and we go to the half, Alabama leading 13-6. What an exciting first half of football. Alabama controlled the stats, but led by only a touchdown. Get ready for 30 more minutes of football fun when Crimson Classics returns. In this game, Alabama had the advantage for most of the first half, but Miami's late drive, which resulted in a field goal, pulled the Hurricanes to within a touchdown and gave them a badly needed boost. Now, coaches tend to emphasize the first 5 minutes of the third quarter as being a key to the momentum for the rest of the football game. Let's see if the Tide can seize the momentum as we return to Crimson Classics. Alabama gets the ball to start the second half. Sherman Williams returns Pruitt's kickoff from the goal line out to the 20, where the Alabama offense will set things up. Bama runs a receiver screen to Prince Wimbley on first down, trying to catch Miami off guard. The Tide gets 5 yards before Wimbley's brought down by McNeil and Armstead. Derek Lassick picking up 2 yards, where Michael Barrow makes another tackle. Barker attempts a pass to David Palmer on third down, but it's not even close, so Bama will punt on 4th and 3. Brian Dill kicks it away to Kevin Williams, who takes it at the 29. He gets upfield for 10 yards and gives Miami respectable field position.
First and 10 from that point for Gino Torretta, the quarterback. He is under center now with the single setback, Donnell Bennett. Wide outs, 2 to the left side, 1 to the right side. Torretta under center. A lot of crowd noise in the Bama faithful as Torretta fires. Intercepted by Johnson. Intercepted to the 40, 35, 30, 25. Whistle down to the 20-yard line. Tommy Johnson, his 3rd interception of the year. It was intended for Kevin Williams, but Tommy Johnson intercepts Gino Torretta. And Bama has the football inside the 20-yard line. First and 10, leading 13-6.
Beginning of the third quarter was just something to behold.
Gino Torretta on the bench now, having thrown yet another interception. First and 10 Bama from the Hurricane 20. Going at the end zone to our left, the pitch back. Here's to Derek Lassick. Lassick is spun down at the original line of scrimmage. The backs are in the eye behind Jay Parker now as Martin Houston's ahead of Lassick. Here it gives. They fake the reverse. Lassick a hold to the 20. Cuts left to the 15. He cuts further left. Still on his feet down to the 13-yard line. A pickup of 7. Casey Greer made the stop. They faked the reverse, and then the rest was Lassick improvising. Bama is 4 of 9 in third down conversions. The backs are split. Palmer in motion from the near side to the far. Off the near hash mark. Here Jay Parker drops back. He's looking to throw. He looks and looks. He's under pressure. He scrambles to the 15. He's on his feet to the 10. First down Parker. He's forward to the 5. Inside to the 4, and a flag on the play. The flag is down at the 4-yard line as Parker was hit going out of bounds. We'll have to wait on the call. We have a face mask down. Get the boot in. As 3 men reach in, and it was going to be the hand that time of Darren Smith, the strong side linebacker. Bama leading 13-6 early in the third. Backs are split behind him. Parker on the give. Here's Lassick. He is manhandled at the 3. There's a second and goal. Football officially at the 2-yard line, heading towards the end zone to our left. The backs are split. Sherman Williams is there. They fake it. Parker going to run it himself. What's the left say? He's to the 1-yard line. He's not going to make it. He had 2 men closing from the rear. He missed by a half yard as Dexter Siegler and Ryan McNeil chased him down. Parker missing by a step of breaking it into the end zone. Third and goal from the 1. Alabama from the right hash mark. Parker the give. Lassick off the tackle. Spins in backward. Touchdown, Alabama! Touchdown, Alabama! As Derek Lassick spun in backwards off a last-second block. And the erupting sound from the Crimson Tide faithful here in New Orleans. With 10-12 to go in the third. Bama has now padded their lead to 19.
Proctor kicked off to the 6, and Kevin Williams returned it to the 29, where Miami's offense would try once again. Michael Osmus makes the tackle for the second kickoff in a row. Already rattled, the Miami offense now has to move the ball downfield to get back into this game. Let's listen as Eli and Doug make the call.
He's going to work from the shotgun. Soretta will, with nobody back there with him. Quick release, intercepted Teague! Intercepted Teague to the 10, to the 5. He cuts left. Touchdown! 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 George Teague intercepting Zeno Soretta. And Alabama's on top 26-6. Touchdown and a 30-yard win back for George Teague. And this is a wild scene of bedlam here at the Superdome.
I don't think that the game was actually in control until George Teague intercepted the ball and scored in the third quarter. I think after that, Miami was just too far behind to come back.
I mean, it was big play after big play after big play. You can call it luck or good fortune, great scheme, whatever it was, it all seemed to fall in place. Play after play after play.
And Teague undoubtedly done a great job of studying, you know, the opponents and everything on the hot route, and that's what Soretta checked to. And he broke in front, intercepts the football, and takes it back for a touchdown. Party's over. Turn out the lights.
Oh, but it was just getting underway. George Teague's interception and 31-yard return for a touchdown, and Michael Proctor's extra point gave Alabama a 21-point lead with 9:56 remaining in the third quarter. And George still had an encore presentation to give Alabama fans. Thriving on the momentum, Proctor kicked off to the 1-yard line, again to Kevin Williams. Michael Osmus leads the Bama coverage team again to stop the return at the 11. There was lots of blood in the water, and the Crimson Tide defense stuffed Bennett up the middle on first down. You know, sometimes cliches are true. Defense does win championships. More action from the 1993 Sugar Bowl when Crimson Classics returns. It's more number 1 versus number 2 from the Louisiana Superdome when Crimson Classics continues.
Soretta with the man on the shotgun alongside of him. That's Bennett. Here comes Soretta with a flag on the play. He throws it long and it's complete. It is complete and could be broken all the way down the left sideline. Lamar Thomas. He is going to be overhauled by Alabama down at the 8-yard line. It's fumbled. It's fumbled. It is taken by Teague. He's going to run it back. Alabama's got the football at the 10.
We were in a man under coverage where Willie Gaston and some other guys would chase the guys underneath, man to man down the field, and it was my responsibility to be over the top of a couple of receivers. So if he threw it deep, then I was supposed to make the play.
If it'd been over closer to his man, it wouldn't all happen. The guy goes across, and George's supposed to be on him. We were in a man-to-man situation, but there was a little traffic, and he was going to come around behind. And
I was kind of lollygagging a little bit on that play. I saw Lamar running down the sideline. I saw Willie had him covered. Saw Gino looking at him. Willie Gaston falls down. And as I was approaching him, my thoughts were just to strip it. That's what we worked on. That's what Coach Oliver teaches us. You got an arm over, or you got one this way, whichever you want to do. And I was catching up to him so fast.
I'm thinking, is he going to get him? Is he going to get him? Is he going to get him?
And now all of a sudden the guy catches the ball. He's got great speed. I mean, George Teague can't catch him.
I was really just trying to knock the ball over and out this way through the club, let it go on the ground, and hopefully somebody's chasing behind us could get it. Good fortune had it. When I hit it down, for some reason it started coming back up. I let him go, and there it was, right in my face.
Oh, he got him. He took the ball away. Are you kidding me?
Well, I can see it right here. I just had to grab it. Step over, turn around, and go back the other way.
Down the left sideline, Lamar Thomas. He is going to be overhauled by Alabama down at the 8-yard line. It's fumbled. It's fumbled. It is taken by Teague. He's going to run it back.
couldn't figure out what happened, where I was. Next thing I know, I see him run down the sideline. I see George after him, and next thing I know, George has the ball coming back. So it took me, as far as being able to just see what happened at the time, I really didn't. I think I asked Gerald Jack, Gerald, what happened?
And I didn't realize it's almost like the game had stopped. It was almost like it was over in a sense. I mean, that's probably the first time I ever took my helmet off in a game, and we're walking around and we're celebrating. And I don't know what the refs were thinking. I don't know what everybody else was thinking. Everybody's screaming. It's just almost like we're just frozen time for a second.
That play was a dagger in their heart.
Out of the offside against Alabama, I believe, the way Miami is celebrating. So they'll take the penalty there.
We have offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
On 2nd and 5, Torretta tries to sneak through right behind right guard, but that's snuffed out by Jeremy Nunley. On 3rd and 4, All-American end Eric Curry shows you why Torretta is out of his element. EC nails Torretta just as he lets go on the incomplete pass, bringing up a punt. Snyder punts it away on 4th down to the 42, where Palmer returns it for 7 yards, giving Alabama excellent field position. Fullback Martin Houston takes the toss on 1st down, cuts back to the right, and rumbles ahead for 14 yards. A defender gets loose in the backfield on 1st and 10, and Sherman Williams is hit for a 5-yard loss on the play. On 2nd and 15, Barker gives it off to Derek Lassick on the draw play, and the Tide gets 2 back, bringing up 3rd and 13 from the 40. Barker looks to pass on 3rd down and finds his outlet man, Derek Lassick. Miami does a good job, and he's down after a gain of 1. After a delay of game, Bama punts, and Brian Deal kicks it out of the end zone for a touchback. With the clock winding down under 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter, Torretta gets some time to throw on 1st down for a change, and he hits Copeland across the middle for 16 yards and a 1st down. Gino looks to throw on 1st down, but his throw is off the mark, incomplete. Torretta gets more pressure from those Bama defensive ends on 2nd down, but this time he hangs in the pocket and finds Bell open down the left sideline. He picks up 34 yards into Crimson Tide territory. Miami knows now the only way to move the ball in Alabama is through the air. Lemansky Hall makes the play for the Tide on 1st and 10. It's strong safety Eric Turner coming through on the blitz on 2nd down, getting a part of the ball and a big piece of Torretta. Gino tries to set something up with Thomas on 3rd and 10, but Chris Donnelly gets over in time to make the stop. Miami has to go for it on 4th and 4. The pass attempt is broken up, but Bama is called for offsides on the play. The drive continues. Bennett picks up 4 yards on 1st down. Number 22, Willie Gaston with the tackle.
2nd and 16. Football at the Bama 15-yard line. Torretta, the give to Bennett. He'll bust free from Mario Morris and go forward to the 11-yard line. Antonio London and Chris Donnelly made the stop. That time he just ran free from Morris, who has really been playing well tonight, subbing for the injured Michael Rogers. Gino Torretta under center with a single setback. He'll look, he's got time, he throws, nearly intercepted by Johnson, but he did break it up neatly. The pass intended for Kevin Williams, and it goes incomplete. 4th and 2, football at the 11. He's got the snap, he steps back, he'll throw the looper into the end zone, tipped away, incomplete. Tommy Johnson with the nice tip along with Sam Shade, and Bama has held the Hurricanes on downs.
So far, the Sugar Bowl's been painted crimson. Let's see if the Tide can close out the deal in the 4th quarter. Will Bama get its first national championship since Coach Bryant? Let's find out as Crimson Classics continues. Alabama goes with a misdirection play deep in its own territory, and it works like a charm. The Deuce, David Palmer, gets 26 yards out to the 37. Derek Lassick carries on 1st and 10. He's tripped up in the backfield by Barrow. Just over a minute to play in the third quarter. Bama stays conservative on 2nd down. Lassick carries it and gets the 2 yards that were lost back, bringing up 3rd and 10. Barker drops back to pass on 3rd down. He throws it to Prince Wimbley. There's a lot of contact there, but no foul, and Bama will have to punt it away. Brian Dill gets off a good one, 47 yards. Williams returns 7 yards to the 23, and thus ends the third quarter. 15 more minutes of football, and Alabama becomes national champion for the 12th time. The celebration isn't far away now, but in the meantime, you know Miami's going to try to air it out. Torretta looks long for Copeland on 1st down, and it's incomplete. This time on 2nd down, the Heisman winner nearly falls on his backside. He gets the pass off incomplete, though, before he takes a spill. Still trying to neutralize the stout Bama pass rush, Miami tries a receiver screen on 3rd down. Williams catches it, but Derek Oden makes a heck of a tackle. Miami doesn't want to go for it deep in its own territory. Snyder punts it 37 yards. Palmer returns it for 3. The Crimson Tide gets a nice 4-yard carry from fullback Terrence Lynch on 1st down to get the clock moving. After an Alabama false start, it's 2nd and 11. Lynch goes for 2 more straight up the gut. 3rd and 9, Barker tries to pass to Curtis Brown, but they can't connect on the sideline, and the Tide has to punt it away again. It's a short punt by Dill this time, just 37 yards, and Kevin Williams finds a running lane. He is dangerous when he gets into the open field, and he's going to take this one all the way, 78 yards for a Miami touchdown. Just like that, the Canes are within 2 scores. The extra point by Alabama native Dane Pruitt makes it 27-13. And all of a sudden, this game isn't quite in the bag yet for the Tide. 12:08 still remains in the fourth quarter. The bad news is Miami scored a touchdown. The good news is the Canes have to kick it to David Palmer. And he busts loose and gets 36 yards before he's pushed out at the 41-yard line. Now, the defense has gotten its due, but ask Gene Stallings what the key to the 1993 Sugar Bowl was, and he won't just talk about the defense. He'll talk about Alabama's ability on offense to run the football in crucial situations as the first order of business.
Well, if you want to win games, and if I were coaching today, this basically would be my same philosophy. You've got to run the football. You've got to stop the run. You've got to be a good giveaway, takeaway team, which says that you intercept more passes than you throw, you recover more fumbles than you fumble.
1st and 10 Bama from their own 41-yard line. Here Jay Barker on the delay. Option, here's the reverse to Palmer, tries to cut inside, he can't, he will lose 4. Wide left, Wimbley wide right, backs in the eye. 2nd and 14 from their own 37, the play clock to 5. Barker to Lassick, he'll fake the option, keep it up to 40, cuts right to the 45, on his feet to midfield, he's about a half yard shy of the first down. Coleman and Green and Rowan Marley there to make the stop. All right, 3rd and those 4 or 5 inches, Bama packing it in at midfield now, Barker his own number. Jerry, I don't think he's going to get there.
Well, this was my rationale. Here you'd play 12 games, you're playing 13. The game's on the line. You got your best you got offensively. Surely they can make a yard. You know, when the game's laying on the line, make a yard.
He missed it by 2 inches. Missed it by 2 inches if that much. Now what do you do? Well, I would punt, but let's wait and see what Coach Stallings is going to do. He's listening to the players again, and they say, let's go for it. And here they go. Remember now, they could take the delay and punt it still and hope to pull them offside. The give. Houston, forward, first down, I believe. I think that second effort did it. He got it. I believe the second effort did it.
I had the confidence that we could run the football. And we had some guys up on the line, but they weren't timid. You know, they did the best they can. They put their hat where it was supposed to, and we just elected to run a play, and thank goodness it worked.
When we return, it's the finish to an amazing 1992 season here on Crimson Classics. So far, it's been hats off to the Alabama defense, stifling the Heisman Trophy winner and coming up with big plays to provide a comfortable lead for the offense. And they did it a man down. Michael Rogers started 10 games at linebacker for Alabama in 1992, but over the holiday break, he was injured in an automobile accident. And while he was able to attend the Sugar Bowl, he was not able to play in the game. Lassick gets the carry on first down. It's his 27th of the night, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage. The clock is beginning to melt away now. Alabama has its big fellas in the backfield. Martin Houston runs for 2 yards.
3rd and 8. Bama is 6 of 15 and 3rd down. Again, the pitch back. Williams, he's going to throw. Sherman's looking for the deuce. David Palmer out about the 10-yard line. He is hit. There's a flag on the play. It'll be interference by any one of 3 men. 3 men had drawn the responsibility of tying up David Palmer. He was in triple coverage, and the option pass from Sherman Williams, and the flags came a-flying. 1st and 10, Bama from the 32. The give to the running back. Bursting through is Sherman Williams to the 26-yard line. 2nd and 4, wide outs to the right side for Jay Barker. He'll pitch it back. Williams on the fake reverse, keeps it himself and goes inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. 3rd and 1 for Bama. The give, Houston lowers the head, lowers the shoulders, pulls his way to the 20, first down Alabama, and keep that clock a-rolling. 1st and 10, Bama from the Hurricane 20. Bama has 1 timeout remaining. The play clock down to 8 seconds. Jay Barker's going to let it go down to about 3 seconds before he snaps the ball with the backs in the eye. Jay on the delay give. Lynch, big hole. Tarrant forward to the 10. Cuts right to the 5. He's inside to the 4-yard line. Tarrant Lynch, the sophomore from Hazelwood High School in Pound Creek. And boy, is that high school in that little town ever contributed to Bama history. He's to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, Bama from there. As Bama has 1st and goal from the Hurricane 4. Inside of 7 minutes to go in the ball game. With Martin Houston in motion. The pitch back to Williams. Nice block. He turns to the corner. Out of bounds to the 3. They'll give him a yard gain, depending on the spot. 3 backs now behind Jay Barker. On the give to Lassick. He's going to go way outside. Cuts it in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Alabama! A 4-yard touchdown run for Derek Lassick. And the party is about to begin. Alabama 33, Miami 13. Derek Lassick trotting around the sideline, holding his hands high, waving at the Bama fans. The cheerleaders exulting as Alabama had Chris Anderson make a key block. Then Tarrant Lynch cleared out Barrow, the middle linebacker, and Lassick cut in behind them for the touchdown. Extra point for Alabama. The snap and spot. And the kick, good. It is good. And with 6:46 to go in the game, it is Alabama 34, Miami 13.
Our offensive line played so great that night, man. Them guys played so good. They was all downfield making blocks. That boy that ran his heart out that night, Lassick, man. He deserved to win that MVP award that night. He ran it, boy, that night.
Here Michael Proctor sends it in, both men kick sailing. Is his adrenaline ever going? It's Williams going to run it out. He'll run it out from 3 yards deep. He'll come to the near side. He's hemmed in, back at the 10. He reverses direction, going to the far side. He avoids one tackler there. He's still on his feet. Dabo Swinney can't stop him, but he steps out of bounds at the 20.
After a Miami personal foul penalty, Torretta hits Bennett for 7. 2nd and 13. Torretta looks over the middle, incomplete for Copeland. On 3rd and 13, with the clock heading towards the 6-minute mark, Torretta connects with Williams for 12, setting up a 4th and 1. Torretta under center at the Hurricanes' 32. It's Bennett to the left for the first down. On first down, Torretta's looking downfield. He's got Jones, but it's underthrown and incomplete. Gino will pass it again. This time he connects with Jones for 15 yards and a big first down to the 47. The clock will start as soon as the chains are set, so Torretta spikes the ball incomplete to stop the clock. Torretta hits Lamar Thomas on a quick out for 5 yards, and he gets out of bounds. On 3rd and 5, Torretta takes the snap right off his face mask. Oh, he's lucky to get that one back for a loss of 7. With the clock under 6 minutes, Torretta's trying to make something happen. He throws it long downfield, but Alabama is there and the pass falls incomplete. It's Bama's ball. Chris Anderson takes the first down toss for 2 yards. Anderson again on 2nd down, but this time he slips for no gain. Brian Bergdorf's in at quarterback, and he keeps it himself for 6 yards. Dill's punt is a beauty. It's all Alabama. The ball comes to rest at the Miami 5-yard line.
1st and 10, Hurricanes from the 5-yard line. Torretta, the quarterback, to give to Daniel Bennett. He'll run up the middle across the 20 and dive forward to the 23-yard line. On the 1st and 10, Torretta fires complete far side. Complete. That time on a nice square out pattern to Jonathan Harris. Here's a 2nd and 4 now for the Hurricanes. Football is at their own 27-yard line. Torretta drops, fires right side, complete, then hit. Sam Sade hit the receiver so hard he coughed up the football. Now in a 4-yard situation. On the delay give, Daniel Bennett and Larry Jones. It is Jones who gets the first down yardage out across the 30 to the 34. 10 to the 35, long airing it out. Torretta can't quite find the intended receiver. He was looking for Lamar Thomas, just throwing it long. 2nd and 10, Miami from their own 35. Torretta with the single setback. The handoff, it is loose. It is taken by Larry Jones across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Donnelly came up to make the stop. 1st and 10, Hurricanes on their own 48-yard line. Torretta on a square out pass. It is complete. Nicely done that time. Got to give him credit to Lamar Thomas. He is the favorite receiver, and he made the grab out near the midfield stripe. Here Torretta out of the shotgun on the shovel pass. Nothing going. Larry Jones, then he breaks a tackle. He's forward inside Alabama territory to the 48-yard line. 3rd and 7, Hurricanes in the 49. Torretta throws long. He's got a man wide open down to the 5-yard line. Hard hit at the 5, and it will be caught. Here's Torretta. He'll drop back. He'll give off tackle. Jones turns the corner. Stymied by Lemansky. Hall out of bounds at the 3. At the line of scrimmage, Gino drops back. He'll throw a strike into the end zone. Incomplete. Broken up that time by Antonio Langham as they were looking for Chris Jones in the end zone, and the clock stops with 6 seconds to go. Here now a 3rd and goal from the 4 for the Hurricanes. 6 seconds away from a Bama national title. Torretta, the quarterback, under center, steps back, 2-step, drop. He'll throw a lofter into the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Out of bounds. It was caught by Chris Jones. Out of bounds. The game is over. The game is over. And Alabama has won the national championship with a 34-13 win over the Miami Hurricanes. Unbelievable win here. What an unbelievable season.
The game just ended, but the story's not over. We'll have more from New Orleans right after this. Gene Stallings got the customary water cooler shower, and Crimson Tide fans were in the midst of celebrating another Alabama championship.
Now, here come some Bama players up behind Gene Stallings. Chad Key is there, and a few others. They want to give the coach the 10K thirst quencher shower. Look out for Stallings. He's got it, and the fans just cheering wildly, and Gene Stallings smiling broadly.
I didn't really feel comfortable. I mean, really comfortable until about a minute and a half before the game was over, and then I felt like we were going to win this game.
Danny Pearman's on the headset, the other offensive line coach down on the field. And I said, Danny, and this was like, I don't know, 6-7 minutes to go in the ball game. I said, I've never coached a national championship team. I've tried and failed when I was at Jacksonville State. I'm coming down on the sideline because I want to be a part of this. Because this game's over. He said, no. He said, don't come down. He's superstitious anyway. He said, this game ain't over yet. I said, this game's been over for a while, my friend. Turn your headset off, I'm coming down. Winning it as a coach was a completely different feeling. I felt more personally responsible as a player as I was a coach. I was so happy and so thankful that I myself personally had an opportunity just to be around these players. So it was a different feeling, completely different of what it was when I played and what I was when I coached.
The game is over! The game is over! And Alabama has won the national championship. Gene Stallings getting the ride on the shoulders of the players out to midfield, where in the midst of all the hoopla, he will find Coach Dennis Erickson and congratulate him on an outstanding season. The Alabama and Miami players now do mingle peaceably enough after a week in which at times tempers were a little short. But Alabama fans enjoying a national title.
In remembering the national championship game, I was in the press box. I was not on the sidelines because, typical newspaper deadlines. I mean, they want the column, 5 seconds after the game ends. So I had to stay up there, and I remember watching the TV screen as the game was ending. From the press box, they zeroed in on the Stallings box, and then they did a close-up of John Mark right as a couple of seconds before the game ended. And to me, that said it all. That one shot said more than almost all the great plays in that game.
Jerry Duncan, you're just sitting here with a smile on your face a mile long.
Well, I just don't know how those guys feel. I mean, it's just hard to put into words for me because you work. This is what you work for when you start playing the game of football. When you're in the Pee-wees and you get into junior high school and some of them drop out and then you go on into high school and some of them get to go to college and then you work and most times you get to play on things and you never even have an opportunity to play in a game like this. And all of a sudden you're there, and it's that time, and you go out and you lay it all on the line and you come away with all the marbles. And what more can you say?
Well, actually, we got trapped at the stadium quite a while. We couldn't get out for all the people, which was great. And we were having one big party, and we had promised to meet some friends at Cafe du Monde. That was a big place down in New Orleans. So as soon as the game was over, we went down on Bourbon Street and celebrated with all the Alabama people and went to Cafe du Monde and then just hung out. Never went to bed. I got up next morning, got everything ready the next morning, drove back home. I never was sleepy. I just enjoyed the game. It's sort of like there for a while you had to keep pinching yourself to realize you just won the national championship.
The Alabama players, Eric Curry leading them, have taken the big red and white flag, the crimson and white flag with the letter A, and the Bama players now leading around the field with that big flag behind them. Prince Wimbley celebrating wildly. He is a native of Miami, and he's got the championship to take home with him. And the players now going over to the sidelines to begin shaking hands with the Alabama fans. And of the 77,000 on hand here this evening, some 60,000 wearing crimson and white. And
they're all still here too, Eli.
Everybody is here with the exception of a few Miami fans who have left. What a ball game. What a season. And what a start to another decade, another century of Crimson Tide football.
But to win in the 100th year, I think it was so fitting for Alabama to be the first team in the first ever SEC championship game and to win it. and then to go on and play, as I said, against Miami in the Sugar Bowl. I think everybody in the country was pulling for us.
If you put a movie out like that, nobody go see it because they'd say that's all fake. But you know, winning all the games and and being the underdog most of the year and struggling to beat ordinary teams all through the season.
You can argue with people all day long about what kind of football program they got and what their football program like, what the university they went to. But majority of them out there can't say they got 12. A lot of them can't say, hey man, we got that many traditions, we got that many championships. They can't say it. They can't say it. When you get a lot of guys, they'll talk like they don't, man, I would have never went to Alabama. You say that now because you didn't go. But I bet if the table was turned and you could start your life all over again, and you had a chance to do it all over again, I bet you'll ink your name on that scholarship at Alabama.
But first of all, I love the player. You know, he didn't have to be a good player. I appreciate the third team player and the fourth team player, the guy that put that shirt on, and even though he didn't get to play on Saturday, he got somebody ready to play on Saturday. So I appreciated him too, and I think the players realized that I wanted the game to be for them. I wanted them to enjoy it. Now I'm going to get them ready to play, and I'm sure it wasn't easy, you know, playing for me week after week, but I wanted them to have the enjoyment of walking off that field of winter.
I admire Coach Stallings a lot. Not only Coach Drive, but Coach Stallings. The good part about it was he was a player's coach, and that means a lot to players. If you get a coach and you can't talk to him, you can't go to him, then that's a problem, because now you got players who are against their coach because they like, man, I can't go talk to him or whatever. But Coach Stallings was a player's coach. And regardless of what it was, what was going on, whatever the situation was, you could always go talk to him.
I think he had a much better relationship with his 1992 team. I think that team was playing the way that he wanted a team to play, so I think that he was immensely more confident going into the Sugar Bowl than he was going into the Fiesta Bowl 2 years earlier. I think he felt like this team could play defense the way he wanted them to play defense. They could dictate the tempo to Miami, so I think that he was very upbeat and very confident going into the Sugar Bowl.
I had one friend that flew down and took his son, not an Alabama graduate, not an Alabama fan necessarily, just wanted to take him to the Sugar Bowl. I think his son was 10 or 12 years old. He called me the following week and said, now you know me, and I got him the tickets for the game, but he said, I go to all the big fights in Vegas, go to all the Super Bowls, but I've never seen a sporting event like that one.
But I get jitterbugs, even now. You know, when you talk to your son, my son, and you know, you just hope that you can understand and appreciate the fans for remembering, you know, things and people and the impact that you can have on other people. And I just, you know, hope that we continue to have a strong legacy here at Bama. Hopefully my son will be here one day doing the same thing and leave a long-lasting impression on fans later on.
100 years of Alabama football, and the celebration is just beginning when Crimson Classics returns. For most of the 1992 season, Corky Simpson stood alone in his belief that Alabama was the best team in the country. But following the Sugar Bowl, the sports writer from Tucson, Arizona had plenty of company. Alabama garnered all 62 first-place votes in the Associated Press final college football poll. When it was time for Alabama's national championship parade down University Boulevard, Corky Simpson was the grand marshal. Simpson, a sports writer for the Tucson Citizen in Arizona, realized at the end of the '91 season that the '92 version of the Crimson Tide could be very special. and he was the lone Associated Press poll voter to rank Alabama #1, and he did it from start to finish in 1992. Over 15,000 people showed up for the Friday, January 29th banquet to salute the national champions, and an estimated 60,000 graced Tuscaloosa for the championship parade and pep rally. Then came a trip to the White House and another memorable tale from that season.
We take a charter plane to the White House after we win a national championship. So we're out on the West Lawn, and Coach keeps looking at his watch and looking at his watch, and finally said, "Hey, y'all come over here." Called the staff over together. He said, "You know, is there a problem here that y'all see?" He said, "We didn't invite ourselves to come to Washington." He said, "The President of the United States asked us to come up here. Where is he?" "We don't know. We're just glad to be there. You know, we're in Washington, White House, and done been through the tour. We're just excited." And he's wanting to know where the president. Well, like, this guy has some stuff he probably needs to do. So he said, I tell you what, y'all ain't helping me. Get some of them congressmen, them senators, get them over here. So anyway, he said, we got a plane to catch. We got a charter. We're in no hurry. But this guy is saying, you know, where is the president?
The '93 Sugar Bowl was quarterback Jay Barker's 17th consecutive victory. And by the time he left the capstone, he was the winningest quarterback in school history with a 35-2-1 record as a starter. Derek Lassig rushed for 980 yards that season, which doesn't include the 135 he gained in the Sugar Bowl because bowl game stats were not officially figured into the season total. On defense, Eric Curry and John Copeland finished their college careers as one of the most dominating tandem of defensive ends ever to share a field. The defense allowed its opponents just 55 yards per game.
I think by the time the '92 defense got to the Superdome, I think they were like a cat playing with a mouse. I think they slapped people around any way they wanted to do it. From a size perspective, from a speed perspective, you just couldn't do anything with them.
I thought it was significant for a lot of reasons, but most important because it was the first time that Alabama had won a national championship since Coach Bryant. And I think that really helped lift Alabama people and helps, in some respects, separate the eras.
Alabama gave me a chance. You know, Coach Bryant gave me my first job. Can you imagine coming out of college and being an assistant coach at the University of Alabama? I'm making $4,500 a year. I thought I had the absolute best job in the world. Now times changed a little bit. Now, not only was I fired at Texas A&M, I was fired at the Cardinals. And, you know, it happens to a lot of coaches. But here, Alabama gives me another chance. Hootie Ingram and Dr. Sayers give me a chance to coach back at Alabama. It brings tears to my eyes just to think of the confidence that those guys would have in me to come and coach here. And so I was going to do everything I possibly could not to disappoint them.
Coach Stallings certainly did not disappoint. He won 70 games in 7 seasons and included on his resume quite a few Crimson Classics. For the Bryant Museum, I'm Gary Harris.